Hey, what's up guys? I'm in the car and I thought for this Halloween, what would be spookier than if I made a vlog? So it's 5 in the morning and I'm headed out to school. Except I don't have school anymore, I graduated, but this was the drive that I made every day back in 2016. Back in 2016, I was in my second year at UBC and I was studying computer engineering. Compared to first year, second year was suddenly so much harder with so much more work and exams, and I didn't have time to do just fun stuff. And that's actually why I would make this drive at 5 a.m. See, at 8 or 9 a.m., which was around when my classes were, that's when everyone else is going too, and because of traffic, it would take an hour. And I can't do anything else while I'm driving. Well, I can sing, that's fun, but it's not that productive, and you're not gonna hear it because, copyrighted music? Yeah, let's say that's why. But if you make the drive a bit earlier, you can skip the traffic, and if you make it even earlier, you can get a free parking spot. Now, it sounds dumb when I say I'm waking up 3 hours earlier to save 40 minutes of travel time, but if I just rearrange when I do what during the day, then I actually do get 40 minutes of extra free time. And once I realized that was possible, that simple idea became my entire approach to time management. And using that free time, I wanted to do something fun, but also something I thought could be important. And that's when I got the idea to upload cubing tutorials. And my first video, 11 finger tricks that every cuber should know. I still remember sitting in this exact location and recording the audio for my first video, which used my Nexus 5. This was my old phone, and the quality on it, can't say this was very good. 11 finger tricks every cuber should know. Or if you don't already know them, now's the time to learn them. I actually remember this. I constantly had to wait for cars to pass because I didn't know if the audio would pick it up. Just for a couple seconds of a segment, I would wait so long just to get a chance to do it, mess it up, and then try again. We got a very spooky aesthetic here. We got the hard to see, but gates with the spikes on top. So I'm gonna try not to be too loud because people are still sleeping, but I don't know, someone's gonna sleep with their window open or something. So sometimes I would use this morning time to go study or just do whatever I needed to get done. And this is kind of like the whole philosophy behind how I was getting the most out of my time. Just anytime I had free time to do something, I always used as much of that time as possible. Even if I didn't feel like at the moment that's what I wanted to do, I had to seize every opportunity with regards to time. So this is called the parkade, which is probably where you should park if you weren't cheap like me. Yeah, I, for a year, didn't park in the parkade because I thought I beat the system. Honestly, kind of did though. And if you thought I wasn't crazy enough, everything I just said also applies to after school. So around 3 to 6 p.m. usually was when there was the most traffic, and I get off school at different times. Like my last class may finish at like 2, maybe at 4, but if it finished within that time of the traffic was too heavy, then instead of taking an hour to get home right away, I would just stay at school and edit videos or do homework or whatever I needed to do until the traffic went away. And then I would go home, so I might get home really, really late, but I'd get home really fast, and that was the important thing. So that way I'd spend the least amount of time possible, like with dead time, which is in the car, and I spend the most amount of time being able to do something. And so that was just the whole day. Like any part of the day that I can seize the time to do something, I'll just use it. Do you guys like my mask? Does this pass for a Halloween costume? When I first decided to make a video, I realized I needed a few things. I needed a camera, a way to set up the camera, and a table. I ended up going with this nice wooden table that no one in the house was using, so it was really good, but now I have fully absorbed the table, and this is what it looks like. Now, I didn't own a camera, so I had to borrow from somebody, and I had no clue how to use it, which is why everything ended up so blurry. Then I had to have a tripod for the camera, which is what you might think, but eventually I did something different. So what I did was I picked out some boxes that were just the right size and stacked them on top of each other so that when the camera was put here, it could be just the right height. Of course, I borrowed it, so I no longer have the camera with me, but I can use this GAN 11M Pro box as the camera, and then my hands would hold the cube out here as I film myself doing algorithms, and then finally, to get the camera to point down at the cube, I had to put something underneath it. It now points down. Eventually though, I improved the setup by getting rid of all but one box, having this box vertical, attaching one of those flexible tripods to it. I actually looked everywhere in my house and could not find it, but here's a picture of what it would look like, and then attach my phone to the top. That's pretty much all you need, and if you really wanted to get started on something like this, you could do it. I did it so easily. I didn't have to buy anything. That is the library, and I've been in there a total of twice to get a book and to return a book. That's the clock tower right there, and I don't know if you can see it, but it's 7:40 right now and the sun hasn't finished rising yet. Thanks to Canada. All right, here we are at the Asian Center. For some reason, all my classes were in there instead of with everybody else. That's a joke. So then I got home and put the bad video and bad audio together to make the final product. I uploaded it to YouTube, viewed it 20 times myself, and clicked like. And I thought, here's a finger tricks video for the world. Then both Chris Olsen and Critical Cubing uploaded their own, and I was like,
they're copying me.
But of course they were not copying. They had no clue who I was. I was getting like 20 views a video. One of the reasons why I thought I had a chance of being successful was a lot of the stuff I learned, the people making the tutorials also knew it, but for some reason weren't making tutorials on them. So I just thought, what if I made a tutorial on like everything? From going to competitions, I could see what people knew. Simple turns like this, just pushing in reverse with your index finger. I think I didn't know that until I was like sub 13. And that's just because the information was not that easy to find. You had to try really hard. Yeah, just thinking about all the time I spent cubing where it was like people knew this, I didn't know it, and I had to rediscover it. I really wish I didn't have to do that. I could have stopped turning like this years before I stopped. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to just make a bunch of content on how to do cubing stuff so that everyone is kind of brought up to the same level if they would like to be, where a lot more people have the prerequisite knowledge to expand on what we already know rather than rediscovering things without knowing that they're doing that. Classic UBC, University of Building Construction. It's almost 8 a.m. Classes are not starting, at least not on campus, because of the pandemic. Nobody is here. I was considering visiting the buildings where my classes were, but they're like 15 minutes away. What they don't tell you about the beautiful University of British Columbia is the only way it's this nice is for the roads to be gigantic, and because of that, it takes forever to get in between classes. I actually had a class one time that was so far away from another class that I had to drop it because I couldn't make it between classes in time. But before we end, I want to tell the full story. I didn't leave anything out of the story, but there's stuff that happened before this, and I want to tell you guys about survivorship bias. It's when you hear about something because it survived or because it was successful. I could go on about why I thought I would be successful and then I did what I thought I would do, but that's just not the way life works. All throughout high school, I thought I would be very good at tennis, and I feel like I was very talented at tennis, but as a person, I was so stupid. I did so many things wrong and I could have been a lot better, but it didn't work out that way. So I actually failed at being a good tennis player. Then when I started university, I was really into making electronic music, and that was my entire life for about a month, and then I decided that it just wasn't for me, so I moved on. I started going to tournaments for Super Smash Bros. Melee. I love that game and I've played it my whole life, but at some point I lost motivation for it. Yeah, and then that led me to the YouTube channel, which I always had a doubt in my mind of whether or not this could be successful, because everyone tells you how hard it is to get successful on YouTube, and it is very hard. It takes a lot of work, but it worked out, and I definitely got lucky a lot along the way. So I'm not gonna sit here and say that I knew the right thing to do and went and did that thing and that's why I'm successful. I feel like the reason this worked out for me was because I tried a lot, and there's a lot of things that I failed at before I found something that worked. And I think that's something we need to remember, that you can fail a lot and end up being successful. You should fail a lot before you are successful. Otherwise, you don't know how to learn from your mistakes. And that really shows in my first video. It was so bad, but it's still up and you can go watch it if you want. It doesn't matter how bad it is. I leave it up because I want people to remember that I wasn't always good at this. The important thing is that you keep trying and keep putting in effort so that you improve. So I think that's where I'll leave this one. Thank you all for sticking with me for so long, and I'll see you all next time.